fun show. And in our studio today, nice guy. I hate to ruin your heel persona, Sheamus, but you're a pretty nice guy.
You know what? The Irish are very well liked across the world, so nice guy thing is all right with me, fella. I'll take
Irish
it
always known for wanting to drink and get in fights.
Absolutely, man.
That's where Vince is missing the ball. He should have you come out with drinking a pint of Guinness, and that even makes you meaner and more belligerent.
Well, I'm not going to go too far with the old Irish stereotype, but as I said, everything's going very well for me on WWE right now, so I'm just enjoying myself.
Now, I think you're actually on the SmackDown franchise, right?
Yeah, it's as I said, I moved over to SmackDown from Raw. I had a great run on Raw for 2 years, becoming WWE champion twice, to everyone's amazement. But as I said, I'm tearing up SmackDown and Sci-Fi every Friday night, so I'm enjoying it. And of course, with FCW now, Florida Championship Wrestling, where
which you started.
I cut my teeth. I'm going to be there tonight in the Melbourne Auditorium, and I'm going to be tearing up in a main event match with Drew McIntyre, a Scotsman and an Irishman taking on each other. Pretty much.
Wear a kilt? You gonna wear a kilt?
I won't be wearing a kilt,
so
fella.
your boys can hang out?
Maybe Drew McIntyre may made a dress. I have another word for a kilt as a dress, so maybe Drew McIntyre will wear the dress. But it's going to be an interesting feud between the two of us. Two lads who just came over from across the pond, and we're going to be taking each other on tonight in FCW.
Now, you actually how long have you been when you came over to America from where you came from? Where was your first stop? Obviously, probably wasn't with Vince. I mean, you worked a little bit in over there in England.
Actually,
in Ireland. I'm sorry, in Ireland.
No, it's okay. Myself and Drew McIntyre, we started off in a place called Irish Whip Wrestling in Dublin, Ireland. It was a small independent promotion in Dublin, and we both went over to another company called All Star Wrestling, where Fifth Finlay and William Regal, basically, started, really got a name for themselves. So we knew that to get to WWE, which is, to me is the biggest promotion in the world, the biggest, where you want to be, and we went over to All Star Wrestling to get a name for ourselves, to get noticed. Immensely helped us, get involved in the entertainment business, and from there we came to WWE. It was fantastic.
Now, did you ever have to during your early days? Did you ever have to do those matches in the very, very small venues where you've got 10, 12 people showing up, and yet you've got to be in character and you got to be on point, and you've got to deal with only a handful of people in the crowd? Have you ever had to do that?
Absolutely, especially in Dublin, Ireland. I mean, when I went to All Star, it was great. I mean, I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, there's more than 25 people in the arena. You know what I mean? I was like, this is great. But when I was doing the promotions in Dublin, there was sometimes you'd have 20 people, sometimes you'd have 100 people.
Is that kind of embarrassing, though, as a guy? And even though you're trying to get started and stuff, you're out there trying to work your gimmick and you're doing what you can. You're out there cutting a promo, and it's in front of 12 people.
Well, to be honest with you, running around when I started off, running around in a pair of spandex was embarrassing in itself.
Right.
Why does it ghost too? You're not one for tanning.
No, well,
most of the boys tan, not Sheamus. In fact, his gimmick's not to tan.
Well, when I started off, it was I had a lot of stuff to learn, and I went to obviously 25 people to 100 people, whatever. We went all over the country, and back then though, I used to shave my head, used to put on fake tanner, even though you'd never see any sun in Ireland for 2 years or 3 years. So I did the opposite thing. I wanted to be like everybody else when I first started, and then I realized, what am I doing? I had a couple of tries to WWE, and I'm trying to be like everybody else. But what stood out for me was the day I turned around and said, look, I'm just going to grow me ginger hair out. I'm not going to tan anymore. I'm going to just,
grow me ginger hair out, my friend.
There you go.
Love it. And now, so usually when Steve brings a guy in, this obviously is kind of a special affection for you because you had a big run with the FCW, but usually the guys that don't work, and you're actually working tonight. I mean, you're actually working tonight. Main event.
Yeah,
and autographs.
Absolutely. A lot of the WWE guys who come back to FCW, they'll do an autograph session and they'll meet the fans. But you know what? To me, it's special, fella. It's Melbourne. You know what I mean? It's Melbourne Auditorium. FCW is where I've got a lot to thank to FCW. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for FCW, wasn't for Steve Kern, Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Steve Kern's the best, is he not?
Dusty Rhodes. Absolutely. Steve is awesome. You never
have to worry about where you stand because he'll lay it out to you.
Steve
he'll say, if you suck, kid, you suck, man. I mean, you ain't got it. When we had this real big guy, Spice. There was.
It was actually, it was Jackson Andrews because I used to live in the same building as him, and I like him. He was a good kid.
We liked him a lot.
Nice
We
guy.
brought him in the show, and so we had Steve in here about maybe 2 months ago, right? And we didn't know what happened to Jackson, right? We loved Jackson, and so we had Steve in that same seat, and we go, Steve, man, last October we had Jackson in there. That kid's huge.
You're like, how's Jackson doing?
He's like, man, you know what? He just ain't got it.
Yeah, Steve is very blunt with his views and stuff. You know, the thing about Steve is that when what happened was I had a tryout in London, England. It was actually before the O2 Arena. Like the biggest arena in London right now is the O2 Arena. But before we were in a really old arena, Earl's Court, me, Drew, and Wade Barrett. And I was walking up the stairs, and Steve pulled me aside, you know, just like, hey, how did you get on? I said, I did grand, I think. He goes, you know, I see it in you. I see the passion. I'm going to talk to John Laurinaitis about you. I'm going to let him know how much I think you should be, you know, with this company. And I was like blown away. I was like,
Johnny,
it's awesome.
Hey, this is Johnny Ace. Let me tell you something, kid. You look pretty good. I think we got a spot for you. Just don't call me. I got like 900 tapes to go through, but go ahead. We'll do something for you. We'll probably put you on a dark match up in Green Bay or something.
You can practice even. I see how much enjoyment you get out of trying to put on his accent, but anyway, from there on in, it was awesome, and I actually moved over. I left a great job in Dublin, moved over to Tampa, Florida. I got out of the airport. I remember the day I got out of the airport at Tampa, Florida. I nearly passed out with the heat, fella. I'm not used to like 40 degrees weather, you know.
Yeah, you're not used to this. This is like Vietnam to you.
It's crazy
compared
fella.
to Ireland.
It's unbelievable, and I said from there on, I walked into FCW, which was just at the time was just a warehouse, 4 wrestling rings by next to a Publix overstock.
Right off of Del Mabry.
Off of Del Mabry, and now looking at the place, it's unbelievable.
Now, when you were in Tampa for the 2 years, where did you live?
West Shore.
You live in the. Did you shack up with a couple other wrestlers to save money, or did you have money from Ireland? Because somebody told me that you were at one time a bouncer in various nightclubs over in Ireland, and you did private security for Bono.
Yeah, when I came over here first, myself and Ted DiBiase Jr. Shared an apartment on West Shore in Camden Bayside. And but before that, when I was in Dublin, I was working like 2 or 3 jobs just to get some money together to keep because when I was on the independent scene, you're not making money. You're actually losing money.
Right.
So I would be working security. I'd be working IT, which is my day job. And,
now, did you work any in Tampa at all, or were you?
No. I was just when I came to Tampa, when I came to Florida, my main concern was to break into WWE. So that was all I was doing at the time. So there was no other. I wasn't like working doors, or I wasn't working security.
You wouldn't have to job yourself out. You were able to be a superstar.
Now you've got the same sort of like body type as far as bone structure.
He's bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah, it's like a Brock Lesnar type. And you see Brock making the move to MMA and things of that nature. How do you think you would do in MMA? Is that something you'd ever be interested in doing?
He could be the fighting ginger. Spice, what were you saying about gingers at one time? Spice
they have no soul.
Spice hates gingers for some reason. Spice completely gets heat with gingers, and I don't know why. We had this one.
Mostly women. It's not really the dudes.
Yeah, but a ginger's a ginger. Are you gonna talk smack to this guy? He'll whip your ass.
Yeah, he looks like a glass of milk. He's a perfectly nice guy.
He's totally baby facing.
Who, Spice?
I know when to heal up and when not to.
Oh, this guy will whip your ass. This guy will stretch you.
A lot of people don't like gingers, fella. I've been told I have no soul for years. I've been told, Seamus, you got no soul.
Spice,
Spice, find me that. What are you going to do?
If you see if it's been cleaned, if you're Irish, then F you.
Negative on that.
Oh,
let me see. Oh, actually, you know what?
We had this one Irish guy when we worked for Howard at Sirius, and this one Irish dude just made it really hard for us. Like, he buried us. And so one of the guys on my show made an anti-Irish song, and we sent it to him. And of course, we're going to play it for you if it's been cleaned. But please don't think that we think that about you. We don't think that about you at all, my friend. So, did you really bodyguard for Bono?
Well, I did actually. Just in the club itself, though. What happened was,
like when you made an appearance at a club.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal.
Hi, my name's Bono. I heard your name is Sheamus. Hi, you're really big. Check out my glasses.
Well, I used to work in a nightclub called Lily's Bordello in Dublin, Ireland. It was actually one of the biggest clubs in Dublin, and I'd make sure that Bono would come in there a lot because he wouldn't get hassled, you know what I mean? There wouldn't be a lot of people wrecking his head. People and I'd stop people going over, mooning them, dropping their pants in front of his head, you know what I mean? All that sort of stuff, and spiking his drink. So Outside the club, I never, but I'd look out when you come into the club. I'd look after him. But he was a cool fella. I'd type to say now, like a lot of people, Bono gets a bad rap.
Did he ever tip you out?
He tipped everybody out. He tipped everybody out, fella. He was
$100
like,
bucks. What do you get? Don't lie.
For
a tip out.
Bag of Doritos, maybe now and again. He bring in a couple of bags of
Guy's got
Doritos
so much
for the
money.
lads.
It's so loaded.
Well, thing about Bono is, so I have to admire him, is that he go up to the lads who just collect the glasses and he talk to everybody, shake everybody's hand.
How over is he? I mean, with the bitches just going crazy over him.
Oh,
I mean, you've seen a lot of people. You got the, John Cena's and all the people that you've seen that are over. Is he the most over guy you've ever seen in your life?
No, not really, because
who's more over than him? You heat getter.
Than you two or Bono? One thing about Dublin is everyone begrudges everybody, so they're like, it's Bono over there. Yeah, he's
so
got
it's
loads
not a
of
big
money,
deal.
but does he buy me anything? You know what I mean?
Now growing up, what wrestlers did you look up to? Were you like a Hulk Hogan guy? What were you?
Be honest with you, Bubba, I know Hulk Hogan's your fella, but I don't. I never liked Hulk Hogan.
hey, I could care less. I mean, if you didn't like him, you didn't like him.
You never liked him
okay.
at all.
I can understand Bubba doesn't care less, but there's photographs of Hulk Hogan all over this place.
Did you not like his gimmick?
He was the best man at my wedding. I mean, he's a very good friend of mine, but he'd be the first one to say, I mean, if you think he was the shiz hit, then he is. No big deal.
I never said that. All I will say is he's an icon, but for me, I was always the fan of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah, he does a great Macho Man.
I was all the Macho Man. I was the Macho Man fan, even because when WWE came to Ireland.
Snap into a shamrock. Oh, yeah.
Mach, what do you think about Sheamus, this guy?
Yeah, he's a little pale, a little red, but I think we could work. We could make some money. Yeah, we could make some cash together. Oh, wait, I'm dead. Never mind.
Well, you talk about a hell of a worker, man. I mean, you couldn't get a better.
I love
Macho Man was a hell of a worker.
Well, when WWE came to Ireland via Sky One, the whole Hulk Hogan thing had already happened. He'd passed the Sheik. I think he was doing the thing with Orndorff, I think, at the time, or maybe just after it. But actually, no, it was Bundy and Macho Man was,
Bundy.
Yeah, Macho Man was doing the thing with Steamboat, but. Immediately, I was attracted to the fact that Macho Man was over the top. His extravagant gowns, his promos. I mean, I've always been a fan of the
Hogan.
heels.
You're kind of getting stiff with Hogan.
What did you hate the most about Hogan?
No, I just didn't get the
didn't
whole.
like him.
Let's talk about how much you hated him.
Yeah.
Let's
Too
not
bad
focus
Hogan's
on-
in San Diego. I'd call him up live and say, "Guess who thinks you're the real shiz?"
Give him a bell there. Call him up.
Give him a bell.
Sheamus thinks you're real shiz. I'll tell you that right now.
Who else did you?
You got to admit, though, Macho's promos were the
amazing,
best.
fella.
He's the only guy that could turn his back to the camera for the first 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden turn around and go, ah.
There's not been a person be able to cut a promo like Randy
No
since
way.
he's been gone.
Agreed.
Sheamus, it's only a minute 18. Don't get mad at us, okay?
Hey, fella,
you know
I'm
we're
just
stiff.
relaxed.
You lived in this town for 2 years. You know how stiff we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you to hear this. This is Ned.
There's a foreign land and some say it's grand and it's full of green good luck. But I disagree. I shout 1, 2, 3. Hey, hey, the Irish suck. Yeah, they love to fight and they're not too bright, just drinking their nasty brew. And the Irish rogue and his silly brogue if you're Irish then you.
Boy, Sheamus is not putting it over at all. Somebody's getting their ass kicked.
Not it.
They got red hair and they foul the air with their filthy Irish streak. Watch them sip their cup and then throw up, cause all they do is drink. Kiss the Blarney Stone, and when you're done, you can kiss my bare ass too. Them the Irish rogue and his silly brogue if you're Irish then you.
I think Sheamus is mad.
You know who wrote that? Hulk Hogan.
I'm surprised to have a box of Lucky Charms waiting for me that came in this morning, to be honest. The old Irish stereotypes are fantastic, aren't they?
Sheamus in the studio today. Spice, you're the one that didn't like gingers.
Well, I don't look. Here's the deal. I don't think there's any redheaded females that are any type of good looking
Well,
all.
this is the first time you've ever differentiated women from men, to be honest with you.
Well,
Mance,
that's how I'm rolling today.
He's totally baby facing.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sheamus, who are you working with now? Like, what angle? Pardon me for not knowing. I just haven't been keeping up. I've been real busy. I know you guys had one hell of an angle.
How busy have you been, fella? How busy have you been?
I've been busy.
Busy doing what?
I got a racetrack. I got a nightclub. I got a baby mama. I got kids. I got a wife. I'm building a house. I'm building a studio. I got 26 employees. It's crazy. But I know that the CM Punk angle was brilliant.
You know what? I have to
Brilliant.
I say Money in the Bank was pretty much one of the best pay-per-views that we've put on in a long time, especially with the from the two matches, the Money in the Bank matches, to CM Punk itself, like walking out with the WWE Championship. It was amazing, and Chicago crowd as well really added to that. It was off the hook.
Out of all the guys you've ever worked, Sheamus, who's like the best ever? Like not necessarily the most over, like a Cena, but just technically, who is the very best? Like, would it be a Jericho? Would it be a Randy Orton? Both hell of workers.
To be honest with you, the two guys who have really helped me progress and really like just show me things, in the regards to like the crowd and the ring and everything, is like Triple H and Randy Orton.
Right.
Triple H, I got to get in there with, mix it up with like WrestleMania 26, Extreme Rules, and MSG then a couple of months ago. But Randy as well. I mean,
Randy's timing is the best ever.
I'll tell you what, fella. Like Randy Orton is the Shawn Michaels of this generation. He is unbelievable. I mean, everything he does.
He's got stuff that you can't teach, as far as timing and slowing down and telling a story and the false finishes and just the philosophy behind what a good match is just stuff that you can have a hell of a body, you can go off the third rope, but just the stuff that Randy's got is just you can't teach.
He's just in a different league to everybody, to be honest with you, and like
when you wrestle a guy like that, I mean, it's just so fluent and easy, is it not? I mean, because he's putting you over. I mean, you can actually not even have the best of nights, and he'll make you look like $1 million.
Thing about Randy is that like he's not doing anything half the time, but he's always getting a reaction. His facials are unbelievable, and everything he does in there. Like it's as I said, when I came to FCW, I remember like obviously not being an anti-hero myself and not being over not being too obviously the crowd decide who they like, who they don't. I've always been a heel as such. But
you think you ever be a baby? You think there's ever in the cards?
I don't know, man. Everyone keeps telling me gingers have no soul. So
he's only a tanning bed and some dye away from being a babyface.
But
have you ever been a baby in your career? Ever?
In Dublin, Ireland, I have. I actually went up one-on-one with John Cena about a year and a half ago in Dublin, Ireland, and the crowd were crazy. There was actually people with John Cena T-shirts chanting Sheamus, so that was pretty emotional.
Talk about a guy that's over.
John, yes,
it was pretty great though, because the last pay-per-view that was in Tampa here,
Sheamus in the studio. Go ahead.
Last pay-per-view that was in Tampa here, I took Jaden to go see, and so Sheamus is coming down the gangway, and we're kind of on that side of the gangway. And, I mean, there's like 5-year-old kids that are yelling crap at you. I mean, they're just getting the most heat with you I've ever seen. And of all the heels that were coming down that night, I swear to God, you must have had the most heat with, I mean, everything from 5-year-old kids to 30-year-old men. It was really insane. Like, and he does a really great job of, like, looking at the crowd. I mean, you really give him, like, the evil eye back. And it's pretty good, like you got a good thing going. I don't know why you'd ever want to go babyface.
Hey, fella, when I was like 4 years old and the teacher was calling me, pasty and having no soul, I gave that teacher an evil eye back, fella. And that's just people in the crowd, but teachers and anyone else used to work with. But no, I'm used to getting a lot of abuse and stuff as being a ginger. Even in Ireland, believe it or not, there's a lot of people who. I'm serious, fella. Even in Ireland.
Yeah, but I mean, you're huge. Like, it's one thing to give a ginger abuse if they're like 5'6", but I mean, you're not a small guy.
Well,
so
when I was 16,
every rule.
When I was 16, I had enough of being called a ginger and pasty and redhead and all that.
With no soul.
Exactly, no soul.
Please, Sheamus, please be able to differentiate that I don't feel that way. Okay. It's spies. I have one guy on my team that's a dick about gingers. I'm putting you over like $1 million. I'll do one clean in the middle for this kid. I love him.
Bubba,
you can't tell me you like redheaded chicks, though, can you?
Let's speak of which, man. What's your chick of choice? What what?
I saw a chick of choice. She wasn't redheaded.
Yeah, I'm thinking he likes dark-haired bitches. That's what I'm thinking.
You know what? I actually went out with a redheaded girl when I was 21.
Did she have a soul?
She was 19. I don't think we both of us had a soul either.
I think
That's why
two
we gave
people
it
that
up.
don't have a soul spice might equal one soul.
They might mate and have a soul.
Well, you know what? Actually, believe it or not, going back to what I said earlier on about teachers and all that giving me grief, but that's one of the reasons I went to the gym, because I was tired of people actually slagging me off and being a ginger and redhead.
When did you hit the growth spurt?
The what?
Your growth spurt. Like, when did you start to really fill out and get your size on you?
About 16, 17. I started actually, believe it or not, I was when I was 12, I was a small, fat, chubby kid. And then all of a sudden, over a couple of summers, I sprouted up and started to get tall and filled out a little bit. So it was great, to be honest with you, because all the lads were giving me stick when I was 12.
Giving you stick.
They ran like a pack of wild birds all over the place, to be honest with you, when they saw the size of me. So it was great.
Now, have you practiced? I'm sorry, I was just going to ask you. Have you practiced an American accent yet, like a true American accent? Like, I mean, we could all sit in here and do like a fake Irish accent, and it would sound horrible. But I've
already heard this song there about 10 minutes ago.
So have you practiced an American accent?
No, you know what? I actually get a lot of stick off my dad and off my mates when I call them up and I say gas station instead of petrol station, and I say like trainers instead of runners, and a lot of like be honest with you, when the worst thing for me was when I came over here was like trying to pay all my bills, my phone bill and everything over the phone, because
nobody's understanding what you're saying.
I'd call up AT&T and go, they'd be like, I try and pay me bill, and I tell them exactly what, and we go, I'm sorry, we don't understand what you're saying. And I'd be like, I'd be banging my head off the wall.
I'm trying to pay me bill.
Do it again,
I'm trying to pay me bill.
I'm trying to pay me bill, and that's really bad Irish accent, by the way. You sound like you want to be in Derby O'Gill and the little people there. It's brutal.
Now, as far as women, tell us about, what's up with you? Are you married? Are you living with a chick? What's your deal?
No, I have a girlfriend. I actually, I live in St. Augustine for the last year and a half.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know, yeah. A lot of people say the same thing to me.
Is it the same one that you've been with for a little while?
Yeah.
I met her briefly at the Stingray Chevrolet appearance, and a beautiful girl. I mean, really, really, she seems like a very sweet girl, man.
Yeah, in Ireland, if I was over in Ireland, I wouldn't have a chance with her, to be honest with you.
Is in Ireland, are the girls very different than American girls? Like, they seem real stiff. Are they much stiffer?
They're a lot harsher. They're a lot harsher in Ireland because
are they easier in Ireland? I mean, are they spread a little easier in Ireland?
Oh yeah, fella, you could give them like four bottles of vodka in their grand.
4 bottles?
No, I'm joking. No, in Ireland, it's the thing about home is that you're Irish in Ireland. You know what I'm saying? But you're over here.
Are American guys? Like American chicks would like your accent and your gingerness and all that kind of craziness because it's very different. But over in Ireland, do they feel the same about American guys because we're different?
No, they don't.
He's cracking himself up.
Look at that American fellow over there making the show of himself. No, it doesn't really work that way, I'm afraid. But on the other side, for me, coming over to America, obviously it worked in my favor. But American guys going to Ireland, I mean, as I said,
the chicks go crazy over you.
Over here?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they go crazy. They still go, there's a ginger with no soul. But
I mean, are you like, where do you, do the rats go crazy over you?
Rats?
Yeah.
I don't know, but the mice are flying all over the place.
How about Jericho? Any word about whether, he's kind of been hinting that he might come back and not have it? I mean, I think you guys need him. Probably one of the best of our generation of all time. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. Any foreseen future, maybe Chris coming back?
I can't see Chris staying away for too long because I know how much Chris loves the business, and I know
the money's good.
Well, for him, I don't know. I haven't seen his paychecks at all, but I know that, I'm sure he's not. I'm sure they're not looking. I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure Chris gets looked after, but Chris is great. He's a great mouthpiece. Have
you worked Chris before?
I got a chance to get in there in Japan. Actually, me and Chris teamed against John Cena and Yoshitatsu, and another time on Raw, I think it was me and Miz against John Cena and Chris Jericho.
Miz is good.
He's just a mouth, isn't he? He looks like a Ryan Seacrest on some muscle milk.
On some gas.
On some muscle milk.
Right, he's just called, for everybody scoring at home, Sheamus just called the Miz, Ryan Seacrest on steroids, just for those.
I never said that. I said Ryan Seacrest on muscle milk.
Yeah,
That's
like
what
you
I
can
said.
get that big on muscle milk. Like you got that big on muscle milk. Look how big you are. How big are you? 6'5"?
Who, me?
Yeah, 6'4".
Maybe 6'6", 272. Who's counting though? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
maybe 272.
Yeah, maybe.
3 ounces.
Maybe not.
Well, obviously, with wrestling, it's kind of much like radio or anything in the entertainment business. One day it could be here, the next day, it could be gone. Whether it's an injury or whatever happens. Are you a smart guy with your money to where you're going, all right, I don't know when this ride's going to end, so let me go ahead and save?
He didn't have any soul, so remember that.
Well, the soul's free. So, but as far as money goes, you pretty good with that?
You know what? I try to keep my head on my shoulders. I'm very appreciative of what I've had so far. I'm not like a fellow who'll go out there and buy the next, the latest Louis Vuitton man bag or.
Are you making good money, Sheamus?
I'm doing all right, fella. You won't see me begging on the streets anytime soon, so I'm doing okay.
You know who's one of the best with their money? Edge. Adam was so good with his money. He had this rule that I'll never buy anything that I cannot buy outright and not finance.
Yeah.
And Adam was really good with his money as well.
What have you bought yourself, Sheamus? What have you treated yourself to?
Bought himself a fancy cap. Look at it.
You know what? The one thing I did buy myself was an L Range Rover. Just that was the luxury. There you go. There you go. But I'll be honest with you, fella. I drove around the Nissan. When I first started, it was an FCW. I had a Nissan Altima that you could take the key out of that would still run. That was a great car. I don't get carried away. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Your parents still live over there?
My parents are still in Dublin, Ireland, yeah.
You can't bring them back? They don't want to come? What?
Well, funny thing was, because their schedule's so hectic, and because I haven't really looked ahead, they came over last year, just after WrestleMania. And, of course, they came over. One day they were here, and then I realized I had to go to Mexico for an L tour. So I saw them for one day.
Then they just sat at your house and were bored.
Yeah. Well, no. They went to Universal. They had a great time.
Right.
But as I said, it's, I'm trying to be smart with my money. I said you never know what's going to happen tomorlow, and I never get too carried away.
Look at Edge. Edge has had another good 10 years left, and he's done.
Absolutely.
From injury. What's the biggest injury you've had so far?
Well, when I first started, basically a lot of people say to me when I started training in 2002, I talked to Bret the Hitman Hart and I went over to the Monster Factory, New Jersey, and I got dropped on my head. I think it was like a couple of weeks in, and all of a sudden, when I got dropped on my head, I couldn't actually feel anything in my arms, my shoulders, nothing. I actually thought I was going to be paralyzed, but I got pins and needles in my body afterwards, for about a minute later, which felt like an eternity. But since then, I've been very blessed, very lucky that nothing's really happened.
Who's the stiffest of all the guys you worked? Who's the one that throws the hammers?
Probably Drew McIntyre, who I'll be facing in Melbourne tonight. So,
really?
Yeah.
Just a stiff, way overly stiff. I heard you were stiff, though. I've been told that you're pretty stiff.
Who told you that?
I just have been hearing from the boys that you're pretty stiff.
Which one? Which one exactly?
Well, I'm just saying.
Hulk Hogan.
No, Hogan's never worked him before. A couple of the boys on the roster said Sheamus, he's pretty stiff. Well, are you stiff?
Well, to me, when I get in the ring, as people will see if they come to Melbourne Auditorium tonight, it's real. I don't pretend to do anything. I don't pretend to be somebody else. I'm just,
You're a ginger with no soul.
I'm a ginger with no soul, fella, and I bring it every time. And to me, it's a fight, no matter who I'm in there with, and I enjoy myself in there. And
so you're not going to, besides the McIntyre guy you work tonight, who else is stiff? Just stiff.
You know what? The one person who I do that bro kick all the time as a finisher, and the one person who actually, when I did hit the bro kick one time, my foot went numb for about 2 minutes. Was Oleg, Vladimir Kozlov.
Right.
When I kicked him in the head, I actually couldn't feel my foot for 5 minutes afterwards, because he's just like a walking wall. To be honest with you.
Sheamus tonight in Melbourne, and then tomorrow Newport Richie. Correct.
I won't be Newport Richie, but the FCW will be in Newport Richie tomorrow.
Okay, so the FCW will be there. You won't. But you'll definitely be in Melbourne tonight. That's signing autographs and working the main event.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're working an Irish man hard, my friend.
I'm telling you, fella. You know what? It's really exciting for me because.
Do you use Irish Spring when you shower?
No, I don't use Irish Spring.
I was just
I don't use Irish Spring. I don't eat Lucky Charms.
He's heard all of these before, man. Every single one of them.
It's pretty bad, man.
That's cheap eat.
I'll be honest with you, though.
He's going to stretch me here in a minute.
No, you're too far away from me, Bubba. I
was going to say he's too fat, which I am.
What's your workout routine like? What do you do on a daily basis?
I have about a 6 day
Lucky Charms.
Yeah, Lucky Charms. Irish potatoes.
No, I mean, really. I mean, it
Army
would
from
seem to
cabbage.
me that a physique like that's obviously got to be pretty hard to keep up with. I mean, especially the travel schedule you guys have.
Well, yeah, well, you got to try, and as soon as we land, every time when we're on the road, I always try and get to the gym straight away because, in fairness, fella, like I got no. First of all, a couple of things I've got going against me is the fact I don't have a tan. So
White fat always looks worse than tan
white
fat.
fat is worse than tan fat.
Hogan first coined that. White fat looks better than tan fat, or
No,
tan
it's
fat
worse.
looks better.
Tan fat's worse, better than white fat. But so when we hit the ground running, it's like straight to the gym, get a workout in, and then just go and hit the arena, get ready for the show. But as I said, no one wants to see overhangs flopping over a pair of spandex, so I got to make sure I stay in as best shape I can.
When you're on the road, you try to find a gym, you find a hotel with just even one of those little machines, or just some, how do you do that usually?
I kind of stay away from the hotel gyms, man. They're not really.
Well, I know that. Now I'm trying to job
I don't know
me
about you,
out.
Bubba. I know you like the hotel gyms,
No, I
Bubba.
don't like hotel gyms, my friend.
Bubba has a Bowflex at home.
Oh, you got Bowflex. Good for you. Good for you.
Spice,
Do you know that guy on
Guess what,
the
Spice?
infomercials?
Guess what, Spice? You know what? You've now officially lost your membership to my real gym because you're a dick. Because you're a dick.
He doesn't have a Bowflex. He's got his own gym.
If you saw
actually.
my real gym, you would freak out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of dust on, I'd say.
Yeah, a lot of dust in it. Hey.
I like that. Just just to try and imitate my accent.
I can't. I'm
got
horrible
you.
at that.
I know.
Sheamus tonight in Melbourne. You can always go to fcwwrestling.com. Tonight he's the main event, and he's actually going to sign some autographs. Then tomorrow night, FCW is in Newport Richie. Again, information, you can always get a hold of them at fcwwrestling.com. Sheamus, are you going to finally get the hell out of Jobberville, St. Augustine, and move back down to T-Town? Because, I mean, seriously. I mean,
I'm working on it right
speaks
now.
volumes of just yourself wanting to live there.
Well, I'd rather
Jobberville.
Jobberville. I'd rather talk about FCW though, to be honest with you, because I want to say how important it is.
Well, he's all about transferring the heat there.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to talk about St. Augustine. There's
Enough
nothing really
about
to talk
Jobberville.
about.
Nothing about Jobberville.
I'll be honest with you, fella. It's like FCW itself is fantastic. I mean, I owe a lot of my success to FCW, to Steve Kern, Dr. Tom Pritchard, Dusty Rhodes, Norman Smiley. The thing is, like, right now, a lot of people they don't realize they get an opportunity to see like the superstars tomorrow. And, because when I was doing FCW, I would do Bourbon Street, Newport Richie.
I mean, it was only 2 years ago or so that you were running that deal. I mean, that you were up in it. Yeah.
2.5 years ago.
And now look at you. You're a ginger with no soul that has had the strap a few times.
So what's your advice for anybody trying to break into it? I mean, would you suggest them automatically try to go to FCW or work in a different way, kind of like you did in a smaller league?
Honestly, I'd recommend people go to FCW, get trained, go away for a while, get some experience on the independent scene, and then come back to FCW if they can, or try and get a contract.
So start there, go away, then come back.
Yeah,
what do you think about TNA?
What?
What do you think about TNA?
What's TNA?
Oh, come on now. I find it. Here's
I'm kind of with you. I don't really.
Here's the deal. I find it miserable, quite frankly. I mean, somebody who knows a little bit about wrestling. They got a lot of good guys over there. They're just Dixie is such a mark, and she programs and books by Twitter or Facebook, and it's just they have some wonderful people over there. I mean, they do. It's just that they're lost. They're lost.
Yeah, like if you were over there, they would turn you into a black man.
They'd say
that's how bad their angles are.
You're going to get a tan. This is how stupid they are. We're going to tan you up, and you're going to be a baby first night out.
Right.
Here's a guy built his career up on being a soulless ginger heat getter, and they make him turn into a baby with a tan. That's how stupid they are.
You know what? I really can't comment on TNA because I
think I may have just commented for you.
No, it's I obviously you have, but no. Being honest with you, I haven't actually seen the product at all in a long time, and as I said, like this Raw on Monday, so I try and catch it up when we'll get back home. But as I said, the way everything goes for us, like Raw, SmackDown, Superstars. I just try and comment on. Try and focus on.
I'm not trying to make you be
no,
negative.
No, you're not. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying you are.
Well, some workers come in here and they're not afraid to talk their opinions. I know that.
I give you my opinion if I watched it, but I don't actually watch it, so I'm not going to give you an opinion on something I don't watch.
It just looks like it as an outsider looking at it. Looks like the WWE, no matter which brand it is a well-oiled machine.
Yes.
It's a constant flow of information. There's your travel arrangements are made. I mean, everything's done. Everything's right on point. And with TNA, it just doesn't seem like anything's on point.
I'll be
And you
honest
don't
with
have to comment
No,
on
I'm
it.
not commenting. I haven't actually seen it. You know, I don't get a chance because I'm on the go the whole time. But I know from WWE standpoint, fella, I think everything's a class act. I mean, from everything from travel to the shows, the way everything's set up.
I mean, that's got to be nice for a guy like you to come in there and you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You got to worry about preparing yourself for the match.
That's it, and the show itself. You know, that's all we got to worry about is the show itself. But like, it just goes back to FCW though. From when I was there, Bubba, as well. You know, like everything in FCW was the same. It was nothing but 100%, 110% that was required from everybody who's in FCW, and that itself goes on to the main show. You know, so like Steve Kern and Dr. Tom and Dr. Tom Pritchard and Dusty Rhodes. That's what they you know, they demand, and you know that sets us up for, you know, the main roster itself. So my transition from there to WWE when I went to ECW in 2009, to me it was easy because that's what they required and that's what I gave, and then going to ECW, it was a straight transition for me, and that's why we're so successful.
WWE's Sheamus, he's on Raw. No, he's on SmackDown. SmackDown on Friday
the
night.
blue brand. Come on, get it right there, Bubba.
SmackDown on Fridays on Sci-Fi. He'll be at Melbourne tonight. You can go to fcwwrestling.com for more information. Sheamus, man, we appreciate you stopping by, getting up early, my friend.
Bubba, it's a pleasure, fella. I'm really excited back at FCW. I'm excited about being in Melbourne Auditorium. I'm looking forward to tearing it up with Drew McIntyre in the main event.
You gonna kick his ass tonight?
Oh, absolutely, fella. There's no Scotsman, and he stands a chance to get an Irishman, fella.
I don't know what he just said, but I think he said I'm gonna kick the guy's ass.
I thought he said he was going to Walmart to get groceries after the show. I don't know. Couldn't understand him.
Sheamus, thank you, my friend, and good luck to you, kiddo.
Thanks, Bubba.
And get your ass back to Tampa, man, where we got a little something going on instead of Jobberville, St. Augustine, where you know what you get. It's like for every 3 years you live. I mean, it's like you age quickly there, my friend.
I've aged a lot in the last year and a half, so I'm looking forward to getting back to Tampa.
Sheamus tonight, Melbourne, FCWWrestling.com. Back in the middle.
If you breathe a word of what you see.